Hey everybody, it's Christina, and guess what? Energize is live! But don't go just yet to place your order. If you already have, lucky you. I still haven't done it yet because we have an awesome team call lined up for you guys today. So just a few announcements before we give the floor to Kim Rosa Lima, who's a dear friend of mine and an absolute rock star in this business. She has so much value to share with us today. First things first, obviously, Energize is up. So it's one of those things that, you know, lemon flavor Energize really like just crushed it after 80-day obsession. We got better at positioning the performance line after that program launched because we really sold the whole package. And so you guys, this is an awesome opportunity to purchase it yourself so that you can share it, right? Lemon, obviously everybody drinks it. Now you have another flavor. And guess what? I find that a lot of people don't like that lemon flavor. And so this is that other option for them. So I'm really, really excited about that. One strategy that I've been using in selling my base challenge packs, right? You always offer all the different options, the mega, the deluxe, and the base. And typically, you know, people tend to play it safe. Not always, but they play it safe and they say, all right, I'm in for the base pack, right? Raise your hand if that happens to you, right? I'm in for the base pack. What I do there is say, okay, perfect, but let me suggest that I add Energize to your cart because you're not going to be like want to live without this stuff, especially with your workouts. So learn the art of the upsell in situations like that. It just adds a little charge to their final purchase, and they end up loving it, right? I don't think I've ever had a return of Energize ever. It's something that our customers love, and we love it, right? So get good at upselling on that base pack by adding, you know, you can do that with the beach bars too, but I always have found it easier to do it with Energize, and now you have both flavors to share with your customers. My freaking dog is going crazy. So once Kim takes over, I'm gonna have to go see what she's doing. And then lastly, before I turn it over, is Team Cup month, right? There's still plenty of time to not only lock in Success Club, but really stretch yourself this month. Remember that in addition to Success Club points, rank advancements get Team Cup points. In addition to, I don't know if you've gotten your Team Cup emails and have looked at that. If you're registered for Summit, you get points for that too. You get 2 points for registering for Summit. So if you haven't registered for Summit, do it this month so that your Team Cup team can get those 2 points on the board, right? So Success Club, push yourself. I know my team, my personally sponsored team, we're hosting a flash sale on Friday. Monica just is actually holding hers right now. Monica shared last night in my team page that she went from SC, I think 14 to like 22 in one day because of a flash sale. So utilize those strategies, you guys. Get your team together, implement it. If you're the leader of your team, implement a flash sale this week, because obviously heading into the following week, guess what we're doing? We're prepping for Ultimate Portion Fix, right? And by next week, I should have our images created for the launch of Ultimate Portion Fix, so everybody can, you know, be really prepared for that rush, which I do feel it's going to be a rush. Just yesterday, though, I'm going to note that if you just go into your coach online office and go into either the FAQs for Ultimate Portion Fix or even just in the Breaking Coach News section and click on the link for Ultimate Portion Fix and the details of this launch, I don't think I've seen such a well put together launch from Beachbody itself. Like, you know, I always, you know, do our launch plan for us and all that stuff. You guys, if you just go into your back office and do a click, you're gonna be able to understand the launch of this program start to back perfectly. So do yourself that favor, 5 minutes of your day to get yourself educated so that then you can pass this information down to your team. And of course, most importantly, that your customers feel that they are well served with this launch and all the options that are available to them, especially because remember, the sale of this program is going to launch first to coaches. So you have an awesome opportunity to recruit new coaches into your business now so that they can participate in that exclusive launch of Ultimate Portion Fix during those first 2 weeks of March. Make sense? Okay. All right. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my dear friend, Kim Lima. Kim, I would love for you to share your story before you get into your strategies, because your story is one of my favorites. It's so inspirational, and I think it'll make a huge impact to our team. Kim is a 13-star diamond coach, a 5-time consecutive elite coach. She is from New Jersey. She's Jersey girl. She is married and also has 2 incredibly handsome boys. Kim, I'm going to turn it over to you. Oh, now you're unmuted.
Okay. Thank you for that introduction. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story. What's interesting is I feel like the longer you're with Beachbody, the more different stories you have to tell. And I think that that's important, because if your only story is when you first joined to be a coach, that's a problem, because then that means that somehow life didn't happen over those course of 6.5 years that I have been a coach. And so my original story was I started as a coach at 41 years old. I have a lot of people who tell me, like, I feel like I'm older. I feel like I can't do this. And I can tell you, honest to goodness, I never looked at my age as being something that was going to hold me back. In fact, I was like, I don't have to compete with all the 27-year-olds, because when I joined, I really didn't see anybody who looks like me in the business, who was talking about the things in the business. And so, I didn't come into this business per se for financial reasons. I was extremely unhappy. I was bulimic. I, had everything around me, but I was extremely, extremely unhappy. And I started to find myself, I started to find who I was as a person in service to other people, in like telling people like how I was eating and telling people to keep trying. Like I noticed that created a difference in myself, and it was making me a better person. And so therefore I, signed up to be a coach. I tell everybody this story. I was like, my husband's like, well, how do you make money? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm just going to help people. And he's like, but babe, there's got to be a way to make money. And I go, I'm just going to help a lot of people. And so 6.5 years later, I have hit the million club, and literally because I have helped a lot of people, and I've helped a lot of other people help a lot of people. In the course of doing this business, I developed a why. I don't know if I really had a why per se when I started this business, but my marriage was very much in trouble. And everybody around me was getting divorced, literally. Like we don't have a lot of good friends anymore that are not divorced. And I started to see these women who were just like me lose their house, have to pull their children out of private school. And I literally was like, that is not going to happen to me. Like I am not going to have to beg some attorney in order to raise my children. And so it really created this vision in me that I'm going to be financially independent. And in creating my financial independence, it created a change in my marriage. It created a marriage that is extremely happy. But I don't think it would have led to where it did had I not, had to turn into the person that could develop her own financial independence and be able to stand on her own 2 feet and be able to do all the things. And so, that is my original story, but, over the past 6.5 years, there's been a lot of things. I developed breast cancer 2.5 years ago, stage 1. And, that year I still hit elite coach because that was important to me. It was important to my team. And it was important that I showed up and believed in the same things I was telling everybody else to do on my team and my customers. And so, one of the things I wanted to talk about was how much I've changed my business. And what's funny is that, you know, we get our elite ranking, and my elite ranking was 283, and I wasn't happy about that. And I started to kind of like, that's very strange. But then I started to look at what I was doing in my business and what my coaches were doing in my business. And what I realized was this time last year I was number 18 in the company, and I was making half as much money. My coaches weren't making the bonuses they were. They certainly weren't achieving anything past diamond. And so I thought to myself, you know, there had to have been some things I was doing to be able to find my coaches to get them a footing. And so one of the things that I realized was I needed to change what I was doing in my business. And so I've always built my business through attraction marketing, right? Like people come to me, and to this day, almost 7 years later, people come to me. But here's the thing. I don't per se think that that's duplicatable, right? Unless you bring in people who are quote unquote rock stars. And so I thought to myself, what could I do so that my coaches coming into the business, so that my coaches could start bringing people into the business and I could start building deeper? And so I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that I did in my business that has helped me. And so the number one thing I want you to remember is this, and it was such an ego blow to me. You are not the expert. You are not the expert. It doesn't matter how famous you are. It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you constantly look at yourself like you are the expert, you are going to hinder everybody that comes after you, because then they think they need to be the expert. And so, you know, I literally am the type of person that I can convince like an Eskimo to buy ice cubes. Like that's just who I am. But that's not a duplicatable skill unless I go and find Kims. And have I found a Kim? Yes. But we all know that those people are few and far between sometimes. And this business was literally set up so that everybody can have success, not just the people who are amazing talkers, or not just the people who are amazing on social media. And so once I realized that I needed to take a step back from being a expert and started to use the same tools that I needed my coaches to start using, that they seem to find confidence. And so I'm going to give you exactly what I did in my team, but I'm also going to tell you this, and I want you to think about this because this was like an aha moment. The moment you start speaking to a prospect is the moment you are teaching them how to do their job, how to do your job. The moment. And here's the thing, I never realized that. And so when I started to look back at my conversations I was having with recruits, I started to realize that I was doing a lot of convincing. I was doing a lot of talking. And then I thought to myself, oh my goodness, that's what my coaches feel like they need to do. They need to convince people. They need to talk to people. They need to do all this. And so I really, you know, a lot of people do like the sneak peek groups and stuff like that. And I was really kind of against them because I didn't feel like it was an efficient use of my time. And part of me was like, well, I don't need a sneak peek group. Like I can sign anybody like that. Well, guess what? My coaches can't sign people just like I do. And so one of the things we talked about with recruiting was, let's just do a recruiting call. Because what I realized was the people that were coming into my business who were actually doing the work, they don't have 3 days to be in a Facebook group. They don't want 1 million notifications in a Facebook group. They don't want to watch, you know, like, oh, watch this video and watch this video. Like they are very much like, just tell me the information. And here's the thing, and you'll hear me talk about my ego a lot because sometimes to be a great leader, you need to check that ego. And what I realized was part of the reason why I personally was not signing coaches is because people thought they needed to be like me. And when I started to invite them on a call and I started to highlight 2 coaches each time, they were like, oh my goodness, like this girl looks like me. She has the same job as me and she does Kim's job and she seems to love it and it seems to affect her in a positive way. And so it was all awesome to realize that I don't need to be the expert. And here's the thing. Once I realized I didn't need to be the expert, my coaches did. And so, we tell our coaches all the time, right? If you want to build a business, you have to have more people to make an impact with. But they're so afraid to talk about the business because they're like, I don't make the same money as you do, and I don't have the same rank, and I don't have the right. Yes, they do have the right. It's an amazing opportunity. It's so amazing that they were convinced. And so why not have a vehicle so that they can easily invite somebody else? And so literally, if somebody signs up from a call that they did with me, they already know in 2 weeks that there is a call that they can invite their friends to and their family members. They already know that, guess what? If they're so freaking excited, there is a call that's on replay that they can send to a family member. And so they get to take that excitement and run with it and not overthink it and not think to themselves, oh my goodness, I need to be an expert. And here's the thing. It allows our stories to be told. And so instead of my story, it's, like I purposely picked 2 people to do my coach opportunity calls that are completely opposite. So like next week, we have one of my coaches that's 60. And then one of my coaches that's 19 who is absolutely killing this business and she is in college. And so just to see the difference of like, it's not just this cookie cutter, this is the way it looks like. So that's the first thing. The second thing I started to realize that I couldn't be an expert in was explaining to my coaches why they needed to do this and why they needed to rank advance, why they needed to build their business, because we can tell them all the time, like there's a saying, I think it's that you can't be a prophet in your own land. Like, your coaches will watch something and they'll come to you and they'll be like, oh, so-and-so did this. And like all these things go off and you're like, yeah, I've been saying that for 3 years. And it's like, but here's the thing, when you don't make yourself the expert and you bring people in, people listen more. And so when I wanted my coaches to understand volume, I brought people in that could explain it. And so I had Craig, who used to be with us, like he spoke to my diamonds about volume and about how they grow a weak leg and what that even means. I get videos from other people talking about why they need to be an emerald in 24 hours. So it's not just me. They don't think that I'm just wanting them to do this. And here's the thing, those same things that I gave to them, they have access to. So if they want to explain to their coach why they should be emerald in 24 hours, they have a video. And so it really just starts to allow them to stop staying in the fear part of it and start going in the action part of it. We did a diamond push last year, and part of the best thing that I did was I started to ask my friends to go live in my team group to explain to them why superstar diamond status was important and what it meant, because it's really hard to have a goal and then explain to people why you want that goal. And if you have other people who go and explain it from their point of view, it's like, oh. So I stopped being the expert in my little diamond pushes that I was doing. One of the things that we have done in terms of a third-party tool, and I want you to first understand what a third-party tool. A third-party tool is literally anything that ain't you. Anything that's not you. That's a video that is, maybe it's Shaun T, like a 20-second video. Maybe it's the things that Beachbody does. You know, one of the things that I have loved watching this company evolve is we don't have to recreate the wheel anymore. Like, they are doing things so that it literally is at your fingertips. Like, when you guys join the Ultimate Portion Control and you choose to be, to learn, you're going to get a social media packet, like, of how to sell this. And so you start to see that all these third party tools are becoming out there. And so one of the other things I started doing, in terms of, it's not so much a third party tool, but like I said, your coaches are learning how to do this business from you. And I started to look at my challenge groups and how I ran them. And so I started to streamline how my challenge groups were run. And so there is one check-in all day. There is one check-in at night for food. There is an album for how to get started. And so what I realized was, the more streamlined I made my challenge group, the more people are like, I can run a challenge group. Like, I don't need Kim. I don't need to do this. And if they do want to use my challenge group because they're new, because that's what I tell my newest coaches to do, they know what to do. It's not like they're just going to plop their person into the challenge group and not be able to support them. The next thing that we do, and Christina talked about this, that I feel like has been a great third-party tool, are flash sales. Flash sales are essentially a group of third-party tools, because you're sharing the program, you're sharing probably a video of what the program is, and literally all people need to do is what I teach my coaches. They need to message, they need to add, they need to tag, and they need to follow up. So they need to message, they need to add their person, they need to tag their person, and they need to follow up. And literally, part of the reason why I can sign a coach and they can find success is because of that. Because just like they came into the business, they can literally turn around in the same day and talk to their two girlfriends and put them in that group. And so we do launch groups. There is never a launch that we don't do a group for. And so we'll have one for the Ultimate Portion Fix. And that launch group stays open. And so people, even after the initial launch, people can still add people in there and maybe have them watch, Autumn's call that she did for us. Maybe it's, like the information about what's in the kit. And so it allows, again, the pressure to come off your coaches and have them take action. And then the last thing that I do is I kind of create a graphic for my coaches for each program. And so when they're in discussions with people, they're not going back and forth about what do you want, what do you do. It's very much a clear script of, after they get to what they're asking their person, we have graphics. And so we have graphics up for the Ultimate Portion Fix. We have graphics for Lift. We have graphics for the program that just happened, Transform 20. And so what I found was my coaches were selling more challenge packs because they weren't kind of getting into, well, yeah, you could just do the program or whatever. They honestly see that there are three choices. There's the basic, there's the deluxe, and then there's a mega. And what my coaches started to realize is they started to sell more deluxe packets because of that graphic. And then the last thing that we do is, I tell people, okay, third-party tools, duplication. If you can figure out one thing that you can duplicate, it's awesome. And then just figure out something else and get better at it. One of the things that absolutely we nail is a discount coach script. And so we have a script that literally we teach people you're not allowed to rewrite it. You're not allowed to send it before a certain time. And it has a 90% sign up rate. So that when people want to get to Emerald right away, if they have 2 people they can sell a challenge pack to, they can easily get to Emerald. And that script is awesome because it's duplicatable. And so sometimes you might be the most awesome person in the world. And I'm not telling you to not be awesome. I'm telling you that if you want to deep dive in your people and you want your people to be getting past diamond, they need to have a system that can be, and I always say this, if your system, if somebody signs up today and your person can't get to Emerald or can't sell a challenge pack, it's too damn complicated. Because you should have a system that here's the thing, not everybody's willing. I'm not talking about the willing and the unwilling. I'm talking about the people who are excited, who are willing, who want to take action. You got to teach them 50 million things to sell a freaking challenge pack or to get to Emerald, you're never going to have depth because people are going to be like, holy crap. Whereas if you make it pretty simple, if you make it, hey, just like you signed up with me, you can do this, they get it and they'll take action. So that's what I got for you.
There you are. So you know those calls when it's always like, damn, this is perfect timing. Damn, this is perfect timing. That she's saying, that she's sharing that message. Well, that was this call. Why? Because first and foremost, the team is hosting these flash sales, right? Which is a third-party tool. And I think you just nailed it in highlighting the importance of, number one, creating the environment for your team to thrive, right? That's number one. But number two is participating in these things. And because that's what works first and foremost. Like Kim wouldn't host a sneak peek or a flash sale or a launch group if she knew it didn't work, right? So as the leader of her team, she knows that this is an effective way of sharing, whether it's the coaching opportunity, a product launch, or to get, people to Success Club through a flash sale. Like, she know it works, so she hosts these events. So if you are at that point of your business that you need to learn how to duplicate, not only for yourself, but for those that you're bringing in, like, just pay attention. Just pay attention to what the leaders are doing to help their coaches be successful. And it's not complicated. It is not complicated. And you'll note, and Kim said about the sneak peeks and how a call is more effective, and she's realized it's more effective. And it's funny because last month we did a coaching sneak peek. I host one every single month for our team, and we tried to do the lives, right? Everybody goes in, we select our speakers, they come in and they share their stories live. And I didn't find it as effective as when we do our webinar style, where everybody's on one panel, we talk for a few minutes, move on, bing, bang, boom, and everybody's done within an hour. The event is over and people can make their decision. And so that reinforced, that's another sign that going back to that model is more effective for our team. So thank you. And then lastly is the launch, right? The launch groups. We did it for Transform 20. You guys, some of you hosted your own, some of you joined in on your organizations. Launch groups, like, these things are important. Why? Because the key to this business, and I shared it in the thread, is that anyone can come in and do it too, right? That's always in our heads, right? Someone like Kim that has grown a million club business, someone like me that has been doing this for quite a while, it's always like, how can I make it more simpler, whatever you want to say, so that anyone can come in and feel confident to take that step forward, right? So as you guys are strategizing the launch of Ultimate Portion Fix, or maybe strategizing a flash sale, or strategizing a coach sneak peek, because I'm very big on go do your thing, go build your business, is always have that in the back of your head. How can I make this simple so that when I do sign a coach, they can do this too, right? And that's always the key. So Kim, spot on, perfect message. I'm a big believer in third-party tools, even to the extent of when I'm selling a challenge pack, right? I use a video instead of vomiting on someone about the all access pack or Transform 20. I send a video and I say, do you have a second to watch this quick video? Videos are key. And I learned that from a book called GoPro, if you haven't read it. And so the business has evolved. I don't know if you guys know this, but Eric Worre is wow, I am like tongue-tied today, rewriting GoPro. Because since he wrote that book, things have changed in our business. We have Zooms. We have all these videos available. We do sneak peeks. Like he's realizing that people have gotten very creative at the quote-unquote live event, right? Like we just do live events differently. And so it's important to note that the thing that never changes is that that's a third-party tool, and third-party tools grow our business. Why? Because it simplifies. It simplifies the business. You don't have to be Kim Lima. You don't have to be Monica. You don't have to be Becky. You don't have to be any elite coach to present this opportunity. You just need to go to YouTube. Am I right? You just need to participate in your coach's sneak peek or create your own. You don't have to be an elite coach to recruit quality coaches. And I think a lot of people get hung up on that. Like, oh, because I don't make money yet. I don't make money yet. I can't recruit. BS. We all have the same tools. We all have the same ability of inviting to a sneak peek or using the 8-minute Brooke Lipoff video that we keep sharing for everybody to use to give people an insight into coaching. And then lastly, if anybody has any questions, please use the chat. Kim, would you share that discount coach script that you referenced?
Yeah, absolutely. It's about like 2 or 3 paragraphs, and the timing of it is really important because people often start talking about coaching discount when they're trying to sell a challenge pack. And that's actually not when you have the conversation. The conversation is you need somebody to say, yes, I want to do this for my health. And I get there. One of the reasons why you share a cart and we used the mobile app before was because it lent itself to doing this. And so I say to people, okay, what do you want? What's your shake? And then they give me that. And then I say to them, one more question. Do you want me to send you this link? And I very much tell them that they're going to be on Home Direct. I let them know how much it's going to be. I let them know how much the coach price is. I let them know that they can quit at any time. I let them know that there is an opportunity they can earn their Shakeology. You cannot keep citing discount coaches and not give them the opportunity, because once you label somebody, you label them. And so they think, oh, well, I'm just here to get my 25% off. And so I say that. I let them know that coaches get better choices. They get in earlier on packages. I let them know that they can be a part of test groups. And then I end with this one sentence. Do you want to take advantage of the discount? Mm-hmm. And most people, I don't know if they're reading everything, but they sure as hell read discount. And they go, of course.
Yep, absolutely. Like I used to, when I first started the business, I think it's normal for us to feel comfortable presenting the discount instead of the opportunity, but it's okay to intertwine them. It's okay to be bold and say, yeah, we get a discount, but I also think you would be pretty amazing at this too. And have you ever considered, you know what I mean? So don't pigeonhole people. I used to do that a lot at the beginning. So if you find that you've maybe done that, it's okay. This is all just a learning experiment as we go. But don't be afraid to, in the same time you're presenting the discount, like Kim just said, present the opportunity, present the business as well. So do we have any questions? If you guys, if someone wants to unmute themselves or use the chat, you can. I'm gonna go here. Amy, did you have a question? Oh, she's thinking, she's thinking. Okay, no questions for Kim. All right, you guys. Well, Kim, thank you so much for taking the time to share your strategies on how to duplicate this business. It was golden, and we are very much appreciative of you and all the love that you share on Diesel Nation. Obviously, very deserving of your success. Thank you so very much. You guys, I will share this recording because obviously this is our noon call. Many people are working. It's your responsibility to get that link to your team. So kisses. Actually, wait. Let's do a boomerang or something, or a picture. No, boomerang. Boomerangs are better. Hold on. Okay, ready, guys? Oh my gosh, hold on. And 1, 2, 3, boomerang! Yay! All right, everybody. I will talk to you later. And go purchase your Fruit Punch Energize.